Our opening prayer is going to be given by Carol Sherwood, representing Cherry Oaks Plus. Better come this way. I don't want you tripping on the cords.
Me either. Well, thank you guys for all the work that you did to make that happen. Would you join me in prayer? God, who shows us how community is to be lived and invites us to participate in community with you and with each other. We thank you for your love of us, for showing us how to love and to care for each other, and for the blessings that brings into our lives. Guide us this evening as we do the business of community. Give us hearts to hear each other and appreciate all that each of us bring. Amen.
Let me go back just one step. This is the agenda. You might notice there are 3 women and 3 men on the agenda. I'm not concerned about the women taking extra time. The 3 men, Bill, myself, Todd, I'm not so sure. And first up is Bill. And come around this way, don't be jumping over the cords. Okay.
We've got 4 scholarship recipients to introduce tonight, and we're going to introduce them in alphabetical order by their last name because that's the order the slides are in. Otherwise, it wouldn't have mattered. These are all great employees of Friendsview, and I usually make some even longer speech, but I'm feeling pressure. But I feel comforted that there's only 1 of the 4 that are a guy and 3 are gals, and that helps balance things here, I think, a little bit, Dan. So I'd like to, just one at a time, ask each one of them to come and share briefly what they do around Friendsview and what they plan to do with the scholarships that they've been granted. So we'll start with Tristan Doss.
Hi, nice to meet you all. I'm Tristan. Here I am a resident assistant, and I work up in RCC and down in Garden View. I work here full-time, and with this scholarship, I'm planning on, I want to eventually be a nurse, maybe a traveling nurse, so I can go around the country helping out where I'm needed. But that's kind of in the future for me. Not really decided yet fully, but hopefully this scholarship will help me achieve that.
Thanks, Tristan.
Hi, I'm Stephanie. I've worked at Friendsview for about 4.5 years, and I currently do social work for all of our health service residents. I got my undergrad at George Fox and in social work, and then I plan on going back to George Fox to get my master's. So I'll start that program the end of August, and I'm really excited. I'm very thankful and grateful for the scholarship, so thank you.
Hi, I'm Ryan. I just started working this past January, and I work in RCC floors 2 and 3. I'm full-time, and I would like to become an occupational therapist. So with this CNA licensing, I would like to be a better asset for you guys, and just any certification that I can have to have me more prepared in the future and for everybody I work for is my plan and my goal. So I'm very thankful.
Hi everyone, my name is Samantha. I'm a caregiver in RCC, and with this scholarship, I plan to get my CNA and just continue being a part of Friendsview.
you notice that every one of these people are doing things that are going to enhance their ability to care for us in various ways, and isn't that fantastic? That they're willing to, in some cases, sacrifice their own personal times to achieve their own goals, but goals that help us all. So I really want to say thanks to each of you for the work you do for us on our behalf, and we look forward to hearing the results of your studies as you pursue those goals. Thank you very much. I've let them all know that they can stay here tonight if they want to, but some of them might have other lives that they need to take care of. So if they leave, don't be surprised. Thanks. Don't forget to keep making your donations. It costs money to give these scholarships, and we need all the help you can give us.
My apologies to Samantha. Bill sent me your photo, but I got confused on who was going to be here and who wasn't.
It's okay.
Memorials. The first half of the year, first 6 months of this year, we've averaged 4 memorials each month. This month, only one, Verne Martin. 5 months ago, Verne's wife of 69 years, Ellen Haynes Martin, was noted in our memorials. Verne played baseball, basketball, and football at George Fox, where he graduated in 1954. Later, he received his master's in education from Linfield. For 47 years, Verne was a math teacher and was a coach in the Tigard-Tualatin School District. He was nominated for Oregon's Teacher of the Year Award in 1972. Verne and Ellen were faithful volunteers at Twin Rocks Friends Camp and very active at Sherwood Friends Church. Sam Bowman died yesterday and will be included in the memorials next month. So up here in the top right corner is the rundown on the things that I'll be covering. So when we get to the bottom of that list, I'll sit down and Lora will give the community life report. Each month we've been doing a Building a Better Community feature, and it has to do with what are the characteristics of communities that function well together. And this month we're taking a look at the fact that they operate with equity or fairness. This is the larger list, and I'm going to share a quote from a British Quaker from long ago, James Naylor, and it's in the English of that time, and so it takes a little bit to, at least for me, to absorb it. There is a spirit which I feel delights to do no evil, nor to revenge any wrong, but delights to endure all things in hope to enjoy its own in the end. Its hope is to outlive all wrath and contention and to weary out all exultation and cruelty, or whatever is of a nature contrary to itself. As it bears no evil in itself, so it conceives none in thoughts to any others. The Friendsview administrative staff has been working with the objectives and key results, and this is just one of the sheets of many that gives you an idea of how these things are organized as primary objectives that are then broken down into measurable key results in each of the departments. It's a document that's constantly changing as items are completed and new items are added. And there's a column where they track whose responsibility. There's a column next to the right, not the far right, is designated as owner, or the person on the staff that is responsible for that particular key result. And then the far right column is its status, whether it's in process or completed. This is just a bit of a summary from those many key results, and there'll be a sheet that's much more readable that I was going to put in the literature rack right outside resident services office. That'll be there after the meeting if you want to see some of those that are of particular relevance or interest to us as residents. The strategic plan is something that a subcommittee named by the board has been working on, and it's a 3-year strategy. The draft that's been developed has been shared with the senior administrative leadership team and with residents, first in resident council, and then in neighborhoods, and input on that is still being gathered, and it will be presented at the October Friendsview board meeting. The next board meeting is next week, and that's been announced, and you're encouraged to take the opportunity that evening, next Tuesday, to have dinner here and have an opportunity to sit with a board member during the dinner hour. Capital improvement projects is something that's been discussed among residents. First, a list was developed by the Residents Council as neighborhood chairs shared ideas and concerns about capital improvements, and then from a resident perspective, obviously, administration has a list that has some similarities and some things that are unique to what administration sees. And I just wanted to make note of the fact that as this goes forward, there are a couple of challenges with this. One being the availability of funding. We can't be doing projects that we can't pay for. The other being that there are routine maintenance issues and safety issues that have to be taken into account, and I share that just to say that these limitations mean that some of the capital improvements that we'd love to see tomorrow aren't going to happen that fast. Affirmations. At the Residents Council meeting last Thursday, neighborhood chairs shared some things that have been positive things that have happened during the last 12 months, some of the changes, some of the achievements. And so these that are listed are some of those things. The implementation of Touchdown, which is now Uniguest, and the new residents who we've assimilated into the community and continue to do, the purchase of a wheelchair accessible bus, the number of activities and all the good work being done by the Community Life Department, and reduction in the use of agency healthcare workers, the increased income from the resale store, disaster preparedness plan, and fewer resident emails going to Todd, which is a result of you all using your neighborhood chairs, your own neighborhood information flow, going to department directors when appropriate, and that I see as being a positive thing. Carol Sherwood has sent an affirmation, and let me just read this. When you come to a place like Friendsview, you know that some of the benefits are not having to cut your own grass anymore and being able to vacuum your unit by just having to use one plug. But at some point, you will realize the full benefit of living in a ready-made community that surrounds you with loving and caring people. The cards, the meals brought, the dog walking, the hugs, the kind words, the flowers, the giving of space, and last but certainly not least, your prayers for David, for me, and for my family. Friends of your community, you showed up this past month in shining colors. I am so blessed to be among you. Another affirmation would be to the Employee Appreciation Committee and Human Resources staff and donors who made the June 26th Employee Appreciation Day so special. This came from a resident who says, thank you to the resident council chair who researched and presented the actuarial numbers describing Friendsview's multi-generational community for the May meeting. The timeline was interesting to see and hopeful. I'd like to share my words of affirmation for our senior administrative leadership team, also known as SALT. As I mentioned these department directors, I want to also make sure you're aware that I'm also referring to their the teams that they manage who make the work of that department functional. I'll start at the end of the alphabet with my brief remarks. Roger Watson, our Chief Financial Officer, has carried the load of the financial pressures brought on by COVID and expansion. It needs to be recognized that expansion included instruction delays that had a significant adverse impact on our financial picture. Director of Facilities, Tim Towers, has responded to the new demands of growth that have included more unit turnovers and many time-consuming problems with contractors. Nisi Segura, as Director of Human Resources, has addressed the need for more staff and greater efficiencies. The addition of 2 new buildings, the expansion of the community center at Springbrook means that 3 new dining venues have been added to dining services, which is directed by Cassandra Schwanke. Nicole Pruitt, Director of Residency Planning, has managed both financial and relational dynamics as individuals are introduced to becoming part of Friendsview community. Gabby Hernandez, Interim Director of Health Services, stepped into a vital role at Friendsview and has met that challenge. Community life, under the direction of Lora Froescher, has had significant new challenges as the number of residents has grown and as communication and coordination of events takes new forms in a post-COVID era. Executive Director Todd Engle has stayed at the wheel and guided the ship through a disastrous storm. Actually, the combination of events, I suppose, could be described as a perfect storm. One more thing before I turn it over to Lora. We don't celebrate birthdays at this meeting, but I was just wondering whether there is anybody here who has a birthday today. Oh, Bobby Roberts, sure enough. Is Juanita Muntz here tonight? She usually comes. Oh, when's your birthday, Juanita? Well, you know, and since we're talking about birthdays, which we don't really do at these meetings, but I wonder if there's anybody who had a birthday this last weekend, maybe like Saturday? Eileen Turner, yes. Okay. Is Bonnie Sloat here? Where's Bonnie? No. She's usually here. She's not here. No. Oh, too bad. Well, her birthday is tomorrow. Okay. Lora.
I tend to always hit the wrong direction on this thing. Not sure why it's backwards in my head. I thought it would be fun for you to see some 4th of July pictures from the wonderful event that your events committee put together. I thought it was a fantastic time. So some lovely pictures from 4th of July.
Where's the joke?
I was getting there, Dan. I wonder if any of you would like to hear a joke about paper. Sure? Actually, never mind, it's terrible. I tell a whole lot of really horrible jokes, and I've wondered, when does a joke become a dad joke? Like, when does that shift happen? And I think it's when the punchline becomes a parent. So bad, so bad. Just a reminder, it's not too late to sign up if you would like to be a part of the fall risk assessment. That's on July 25th. Just reach out to Abel and you can get signed up for that. And then he also wants you to know that there are walks starting every Thursday morning at 8 a.m. They start over at Charles Fields Plaza and you'll walk around town. There's a destination walk and you're welcome to bring your pets. However, if you have a turtle, that would defeat the purpose. So do not bring a turtle, but if you have a dog or another animal that moves quickly, feel free to bring it along. Nancy Navejas is our wonderful therapeutic rec coordinator, and she has done such an amazing job caring for people in our health service areas. She has a robust volunteer group and would love more people to help her out with all different kinds of things. She's incredibly creative and there's lots of different needs. So if you're interested in helping out and just being a part of that side of things, it can be behind the scenes, it could be just sitting and visiting with a friend. There's lots of different opportunities. There's more information outside the doors here that's printed. And if you want to volunteer, you just fill out the volunteer form. It's online, or you can pick up a hard copy over at the welcome desk and fill that out and get that back to us. Did any of you see the butterflies?
Yes.
They were fantastic. We released them into the garden and they kept landing on Nancy and she was screaming, "Get them off me, get them off me." It was fun. I don't know if the video will work tonight.
Sure.
Will it? How do I do it? Nancy had someone put this video together and she started a horticulture program over at Charles Fields. So she worked with a gentleman who provided all these lovely plants. And so this is a short video of what you can go see over at Charles Fields. Imagine watering all of those plants. Well, guess what? We have a volunteer who does that. It's fantastic. So yeah, go check out the plants over at Charles Fields. Walk around, go to the different floors. There's lots of fun things to see over there. As many of you know, Angelina is departing to Uganda for the next 2 years to work with the Peace Corps. We are thrilled for her and very sad for us because she's fantastic. The good news is that I already have 4 very qualified applicants, so I'm going to be interviewing them this week, and then the very first week of August we'll do in-person interviews with our top candidates. So we're hoping to have someone sitting at the desk by the very beginning of September. So there's a plan, we've divvied out responsibilities, we're going to be okay. These are things that happen in community life, so we're going to be just fine. But if you'd like to celebrate Angelina, stop by tomorrow. We're going to be doing pictures in the lobby from 1:30 to 2 o'clock, and then we'll be in the classroom for treats and refreshments for an open house. You can kind of come in and out as you will between 2 and 3. And then if you missed pictures, you can still snag a quick picture at the end. So what's coming up? We have a parking census that's going to come up. The very beginning of August, we'll be sending that out, and we need your help and collaboration. We are trying to figure out what's happening out there and who's parking where. So if we can have your help with that, we'd sure appreciate it. And then we will know how to put the puzzle pieces together. We just need to find out what is actually happening so that we can move forward with a really good plan. So you'll be seeing that coming out soon. Just keep your eyes peeled. The Holler-In study, I know we've been talking about this quite a bit, but that is still coming up the end of August. It'll come out on the 26th. There will be a written copy for our health service residents, and there will be a digital copy for our independent living residents. And if you do not like technology and you're in independent living, don't fear. Your wonderful peers have offered to do different sessions so you can meet with someone and they will help you get online and help you with the process if you need that. And then we also have Serve Day coming up. Do any of you know about Serve Day with George Fox? Fantastic. They've been doing it for years and years. So we have a really great connection with the physical therapy department. So we have several groups that will be coming to campus. Now this is something that Angelina typically organizes, and we know she'll be out. So in August, we'll be gathering ideas of what projects you have around campus. Mid-August, I'll be collecting all of those, and then we'll work with the students and get them organized. So if you have projects that you would like help with, keep them in mind, and then mid-August we'll be asking for those. Thank you for those who filled out the dining survey. Cassandra was thrilled, and we have 3 winners, Becky Jackson, Mark Woolbright, and Walda Young. They all are receiving a gift card to the bistro. So just a little foretaste of what's coming for the Holler-In study, because when we do that survey, there will also be prizes. So be excited about that. And then the results from the survey, Cassandra is putting those together, and those will be published. So we'll get those out to you so you can see what input you all put together. Todd.
Well, good afternoon. I just want to talk about, because we're getting close to the end of our fiscal year, July 31st, and you may remember earlier this year that we were struggling with our covenants and worried about meeting them. Those are the covenants that we have with our financiers that sold us the bonds. So, the good news, we're getting close to the end of the fiscal year, and we had a couple of goals. We had one that was we needed to sell enough of our current inventory, not Sutton and out at Springbrook, but our existing inventory. We had to sell 5,600,000 to meet our goal and meet our covenants. Well, we have sold 5,689,000. We are thrilled with this. We still have 4 people that are scheduled to move in before the end of the month, and that will get us there, but they've made their reservations, and so we're waiting for that. We also have the goals to meet our days cash on hand and our debt service coverage ratio. So as of June 30, we were at 1.2 for our debt service coverage ratio, and our goal was to be at 1.2. So we are good there. And we also are projected, with those last people moving in, to have days cash on hand of 180 days. That was our goal. And we are projected to be at 190. So we are looking good for all our goals. At Sutton, we had a goal. We wanted to pay off our short-term debt. We had all the bonds, and a section of them were short-term bonds that were going to be paid off with the first people that moved into Sutton and out at Springbrook. So we also, part of that is to meet 94% occupied at Sutton. So as of the beginning of this month, we had 108 occupied and 6 more sold. That gets us to 114 of the 117. The last 3, we still have time. We can sell those in the earlier part of the year, and actually selling those in the earlier part of this next fiscal year is advantageous for us because it gives us the whole year before we have to include Sutton in our covenants. But that's kind of confusing. But so we had 6,400,000 that we still need to pay off of our short-term debt. 3,400,000 was already sent to the bank, and we're expecting to have that processed and showing on our books by 7/25. And then we also had some accounts that we needed to request to have processed and paid to those. There was another 3,200,000 in the it's in the deposit account. So all the people that move in had to pay a deposit. That went into account, and now at the end of this process, those funds can be available to pay off the short-term debt. And then we also had an interest reserve account that was worth $877,000. So all that to say, all that's going to help us pay off our short-term debt with $1 million extra to go into our reserves. So we are just almost there. We can taste it. It's going to be paid off by the end of this month. We're also planning for this fall an actuarial study, and this is a good process to go through. It'll test our reserves with our community's life expectancy, and will assure that we have adequate resources to meet everybody's health needs for the future. So that study will be done this fall. The health services, another goal for our health services is to build our census there. We've had 11 direct admits that have moved in this year. And then some other news that you may be interested in is that we're going to be adding memory care to the first floor of Charles Bia's Plaza. So that'll be coming this next 6 months. Our agency use for the community has plummeted. We just have a small number of shifts, but we are fully staffed in our healthcare, and we've had great success with turnover too. In the month of June, we only saw 2 staff leave, and we hired 2 more staff. So that was a great month, and we've also been able to hire nurses, which has been challenging us in the past. In our finances, we were concerned about the bistro making enough money on the weekends to cover the staff that had to work. I said, Cassandra, you need to look at that. We may need to talk to the Sutton folks and say, we're going to close on the weekend if we can't make enough to cover our costs. Well, she said she wanted to try something first, So she started doing some buffets on the weekends. And those have been very successful. And I'm glad to announce we're making enough on the buffets to keep the bistro open on the weekends. Plus, that gives you something to look forward to, the weekend buffet. So I hope you'll go take advantage, invite your families, and enjoy a buffet on the weekends over at the Cherry Street Bistro. Just other news, we are purchasing a couple of the houses over on Meridian to add to our community. There's 808 and 804, and you may have seen 808's already been getting work done on it and ready for new residents. One other news you might be interested in is minimum wage. So we have had to give 80 of our staff raises due to minimum wage increases. So that's been a required, and it's something that we've wrapped into our budget. Our budget will be approved by the board this next week at the board meeting. You may have heard in the new construction at Sutton and out at Springbrook and at the health center, we've had quite a few punch items and warranty items that have been gone unfixed and untaken care of because of our issues with Pence. Well, we've gone through the process and notified Pence that we will be taking care of those ourselves and charging the funds that are set aside to pay Pence. And we're having York and Curtis coming on site to wrap those up, and those will be, you'll start to see workers on those things soon. Okay, the last thing I wanted to say is we saw some great pictures of plants over at Charles Beals, but we also, besides the plants, we want to see you at Charles Beals. We are planning a few programs and activities coming up in the next a few months, and I hope you'll watch for those and come join us. I think we've had some ice cream feeds and animal days and different things, but please watch for those. It's a goal we're setting to promote community at Charles Beals as we're building our census there. Thank you.
Do you have a grandchild who's 15 years or older? Are you a new resident and have been wondering about what's Newburgh like? Or are you a person who's been here for a while and might like seeing Newburgh from a new perspective? Well, for the grandchild, this might shock him a little bit because the activity I'm about to suggest to you, you're only allowed to go as a single person. But did you know that the Newburgh Police Department has a ride-along program? Which means you can arrange by filling out a form online or have a friend print it out and drop it off, perhaps for you at the police department, or if you're a walker, like somebody who's sitting in the front row, you can walk over there and pick one up. The down part to this program is that it takes a while for that application process to go through because they have as you can see from the video, a long list of requirements. The one that gets me is that you can't be drunk. And the other one has me wondering in that you have to be wearing appropriate attire. But there's a few others. And for those of you who do have guns, even if you have that concealed permit to be wearing it, you cannot when you get into that police car. The person I talked to who told me about this program, and I think it's pretty neat, says it's wonderful. But I can't give the person's name because it does state here, if you do sign up to go or shock your grandchild, that he's got this special surprise. You are expected to maintain the confidentiality of all you see and hear during your ride along. So you can't talk to them because they can't tell you. But they did tell me it was great fun and really did change how they view Newburgh.
Well, despite our late start, we concluded on time, and I always appreciate the number of folks that come out for this meeting, and I consider it a pleasure to be able to gather and be able to share together. And I will roll back the slides, and if you want to see the pictures of them, just in case after we're dismissed you want to see the pictures of new residents. Thank you for coming. We'll be back here at 6 o'clock with technology ready to roll. You missed being able to see me?